everybody, it's Michelle LaVore and
Devin LaVore
coming at ya. And we're so glad that you're here, and we just pray that you guys are blessed by what we have to share today.
Mm-hmm.
And this is actually kind of what we're going to share is coming from this last week. It was something that I wanted to share in our Act 1
it's kind
scene
of an addendum. Let's
45.
make that a whole video.
Yeah, it was something I wanted to share, but I really felt when we were doing the video, it was just like, no, just make a separate video for this. And
See,
so,
that's why we didn't have an addendum.
We didn't have an addendum.
We didn't.
Wow.
Because this is it right here.
Yeah.
A whole video. So our video doesn't turn out to be an hour and a half.
Yes, so so that's kind of what this video is about. It's kind of just it's an addendum to the last video, and just sharing more about what a vision that the Lord gave us, and I felt like it was really encouraging, and I just wanted to be able to share that with you guys as well, because I just think it applies to just our walk with the Lord, and just kind of give encouragement there. But before we start, we also want to give a huge thank you to everyone who continues to support us and give to us.
Mm-hmm.
We appreciate each and every one of you, and truly it's just an amazing, it's been amazing just to see how God continues to support our family and just, carry us through this time that He's had us in, or where He's had us in. I don't know, that didn't came out right.
It came out fine. I just want to say something on this, though. We are believing for the day that will come when we won't need support. Mm-hmm. Where God will, with His tender, merciful hands, He will set us in a blessing and a position where we won't need aid or support. And, because it was His hands that put us in the position to begin with, to need aid or support. So therefore, it's going to have to be His hand that gets us out of that position. And I don't regret, as much as, if you guys have been following us for a long time, my heart and the whole support raising and how God has used it to really just squeeze some stuff out that just doesn't belong there. Some culture stuff, tradition stuff, wrong teaching church stuff. This whole journey is just, every time I get squeezed with the money thing, it's just like, it just comes out. And of course throughout the journey there's been many people who have have said, why don't y'all get a job? It's like, oh my gosh. But then there's other people that have come along and said, hey man, the worker is worthy of the wage and all that. So there's been positive and negative on both sides, and God's just been using a lot of it to just say, hey, I've got you right where I want you. I've got you right where I want you. I know I'm saying it twice because twice is nice. But, and He's proven it, through the hard times and through the great times. He's just like, I'm the one sustaining you. So we are believing for a time when we don't need it. But during this time that we are in a position that we do need it, and we're getting support from those who want to support us. First of all, it just blows our minds.
Yeah.
It's like, there is no way that we could be doing what we're doing without the support. And it blows my mind that we're such a small little mom and pop in the back alley kind of ministry channel that, that God has people find us and support us. It's been, for like the last 3 years. Yeah? For the last 3.5 years or so. It's just been amazing. It's like only the Lord.
Yeah.
Only God. And so we don't regret anything. And all we have is thanksgiving for those who have given to us, continue to give. Maybe you used to give, you still watch, and you used to give, but you don't anymore. Welcome to the channel. Hello. You know what I mean? We thank you as well. We're just thankful to God and thankful to those who have given, It was just on my heart. I just wanted to say it. Where we don't believe that the Lord's going to keep us in this position.
No.
I don't know how much longer. It doesn't even matter. The time frame is not the issue. It's just look at what God has done throughout this whole journey of us. Like, we're talking years.
Yeah.
Like, that blows my mind. Because I'm like, I would, a couple months, and it's like, okay, whew, we made it through that season. Man, this season's been 3.5 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really has been. So we're just going to go ahead and just get into what the Lord was speaking to us. And basically this came about really, there was a morning that I was just really struggling. Sometimes you wake up and...
You struggle?
I know. Woo, shocker.
Wait a second. What's that about? You're a believer. You shouldn't be struggling. Do I know you? No, I'm just kidding.
So there's a morning that I was just kind of just struggling. My heart was just getting hit by a lot of different things. Yeah. And that morning the Lord gave Devin this vision of basically like, do you want to explain the vision?
Yeah. Okay,
Can you go into that?
Yeah, so this is an interesting vision because it had like some layers to it. So I'm just going to go from the bottom layer up. Beneath, on the ground, was a forest, and that forest was so full of trees that the tops of the trees connected and interlocked with each other, the leaves and everything, the foliage, and it created a darkness underneath. It was just a dark forest underneath. And that's the underneath part. Well, the vision started out with Michelle. She was literally traipsing on top of the tops of these trees, and above that it was almost like a bed of like, I don't know, it was like a field of like the tops of those trees. It made like its own little ground. But then above that there were even more trees. So it's like she was in this kind of like a oval kind of Colosseum type, I don't know, shaped opening, and she's just traipsing through, just like, yeah, she was having fun. You could tell she was like literally walking on the tops of these trees, just almost like walking on water. And then up from the ground, it seemed like the ground, but we later find out it wasn't the ground. This came all these like leaves and vines and like huge blades of grass to start wrapping around her, and she's still trying to walk as these things are being and then she's just being pulled down through the trees like quicksand. And it was like she was trying to fight it, like, yeah, and it just, no matter what she did to try to fight against it, it just wasn't working. It was just pulling her down. Yeah, and then above that was sky, So it was like a nice, bright, shiny day, and she was just walking, skipping on the tops of trees like it was the ground. Yeah. It's just like, and then you were getting pulled down.
Yeah, and so it was just really cool because it really just kind of represented like, this is like what's been going on. I do feel like since the beginning of this year, it's as if like the Lord he really has taken me above so many issues, and so it's like I've been just kind of traipsing along like on the tops, and just being with the Lord, soaring with Him. But that morning in particular, I really was getting just tangled up and pulled down by just the familiar surroundings. And that was something that Devin had said that morning. He's like, I know like these leaves and all of this stuff, it's all the familiar things. It's what's surrounding you that's starting to pull you down.
Oh, right. It was a trap from the enemy. And the Lord said it's a trap from the enemy designed to look like your surroundings, to get you caught up in the physical earth stuff and pull you back down into that dark place that He elevated you out of. Spoiler alert.
Yeah. And so as I'm just going through all of it, it was just like the Lord was showing like, hey, I have brought you up, and so just stay on top. But I have to stay on top by just continuing to go to the Lord, continuing to have Him come and cut off all the entanglements and not get concerned with those things. And it just...
Well, do you remember how that happened? I mean, that happened because you looked to the Lord. You looked at... This wasn't part of the vision. This was more of like the explanation that came later. Remember, it was like you look to the Lord. You look to the Word. Like, what does the Word say? And as you continue to behold the word and the truth and what it says, it's like you begin to glow really bright like the sun, and all those things burnt off of you.
Yeah.
You know? Did you say that already?
No.
Oh, okay. Cool. You were giving me a look.
No, I just actually don't remember any of that.
You don't remember that? I literally said that. This is the second time I'm saying it to you. Okay, well, there you go.
That's funny.
You're
I
like,
don't remember
that's
any
awesome. Of that. Maybe the first, you were probably processing something else.
Probably.
And you were just like,
it's like buffering.
Yeah.
And you're trying to feed more
and I'm
information.
still trying to download.
So like everything's just starting to break off and come off. And
you don't remember that part, did you?
I didn't remember that part, but it's really awesome to hear it again, because it's like, yes, that's exactly what was happening.
For the first time.
But no, it was just, the idea is just to continue to look at Jesus. And we were, what song is that? The Remember, just look at him.
Oh, the song is called Remember?
Remember that song? Yes. Remember. I know, I was saying it was Remembered. I was just wondering if that was the song.
Oh, yes, I remember. I remember. That's right.
So, in the song called Remember, there's this line that just says, just look at him.
Yeah.
And it's like, yes, that's exactly what the Lord's saying. In those moments where there's the entanglements, just look at him. You know, and it was reminding us of, with Peter, when he gets out of the boat and he starts walking towards Jesus. By faith, he's walking on water, and he is on top of water.
That's crazy.
But it was when he started to see the surroundings around him that he became afraid and he started to sink. And so he cried out to Jesus, and Jesus was right there to pick him up, lift him up. But it was because he ended up looking at the surroundings rather than Jesus. And so there was just that moment for my heart that was just like, okay, don't look at the surroundings, continue to look to Jesus. Because if I didn't, I was going to start sinking, Instead of walking on water, I was walking on trees. But it was
same kind of miracle. That stuff doesn't keep you up.
Yeah, exactly. But it was just this like awesome picture. And then later on that night, we ended up kind of re-talking about some of it, but we were also just I felt like God kind of expanded things, and that it was like we've been on this journey, and it's been like we've just been walking through this jungle, this dark forest, and it's just we're constantly, it's like, all right, we're walking around, going through whatever the Lord needs us to go through, and this whole journey, and it was just kind of like cool, because then it was just this picture of the Lord just lifting us up. It was like we're sitting here going, okay, surely it's like kind of like that we have to be done by now. Like where does this forest end? Where does this jungle end?
We're looking for the light,
and it's like I think I see. No.
I think we're lost.
And then the Lord just comes in and just lifts us up. And it's like that's the way that the Lord has determined, like, I'm just going to lift you up and out of this.
Not any way we were thinking.
No.
You know what I mean?
But it's funny because it's like there's so many, there's been a lot of pictures that the Lord has given us where that's exactly how he's going to do it. It's this like, we have this vision of us being on a track, and we're just going around in circles and circles, and we
in a race car, kind of like picture like a NASCAR.
Yeah. And so we're going around doing what you do when you're NASCAR race car and going around. But there came this point where we had crossed this finish line, and just right after it, I know, I just got that as well.
Keep going.
And then there was just this stadium. It literally parted, and there was a road for us to go on. And again, it's this like something you would never think of. If you're going around in circles, you're thinking,
well, and there was no way out.
Yeah, there's no way out.
You literally those cars got placed in the track,
Yeah.
and they're just racing. There's literally no way in or out.
Yeah.
It was
unless
weird.
the Lord makes a way where there is no way.
Come on now.
And so it was
You're
like
preaching
this
good.
stadium just parted, and we were able to leave.
And it was crazy. It was like, wow, that's just all of a sudden. And it parted wide.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a little bit of parting. I mean, literally, every car on there could have gone side by side and just drove right on. I mean, just opened up.
And so...
It sounded just like that, too.
And, we've had other visions where it's like the Lord, He's come, and scooped us up. This huge giant eagle just comes, and our family's in this nest, and it just He picks us up, and so it's just like, okay, so there's all of these visions, and again, I felt like this picture of being in the jungle where it's like, man, there is no way out of this, and the Lord's just like, I'm coming, and He lifts us up out of the place that we're in. Yeah. And so it was just like, I really loved that, because I really felt like it was just a testimony, or just like from the heart of God to say, like, you might be in a position where it's similar, where you're looking like, Lord, how am I ever going to get out of this place? I'm living in this jungle, or I'm on this racetrack, and
I'm in this wilderness.
There's like no end to it.
Yeah.
And the Lord's like, well, I'm going to come in a different way, and I'm going to open things up that shouldn't be opened. A stadium. That's not supposed to be a road. It's a stadium.
A Red Sea.
Or a Red Sea. And it's like, I will make a way where there is no way. Mm-hmm. And just Him coming at this moment, and it is just like your world completely changes. And for me personally, I had an experience like that when, it was back in 2015, I believe. And I was working at a particular place, and it was very much like I knew the Lord had me there, but literally from the day I started, I wanted to quit. But I knew it was like, no, this is where I'm supposed to be. And I was there, and it was just...
It was the roughest time.
It was so hard, so difficult. But there just came this point where I was just like, it felt like there was just no ending to it. And but after being there for about 6 months, literally it was just like this opening came where it was like, here, take this
a new position.
Yes, it was basically a new position. This opening came, and to work at a completely different place. And it was just like, there was this vision that Devin had at the time where he was like, you're gonna just be, it's like this worn, torn.
Well, let me tell it.
You tell it.
Okay, let me tell it. Okay. It was cool because at that time you were like so drained. You were so done. You were like a zombie walking through that place. And I know you don't watch zombie shows. I do. Anyway, you were just done. And you were just crying out to the Lord every Sunday. At that time, we went to International House of Prayer. And I remember just being in the back, and I was just embracing you, and you were just like, I just want to out of here. I don't want to go, because you knew you had to go to work the next day. And I was just like, I know, the Lord has trained me, like, even for my wife, I can't say stuff to her in a measure of encouragement that's not from the Spirit. Mm-hmm. If I am, I'm actually, it's just not good.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, Lord. I'm feeling for her. And it's just like, but it's like, if the Lord's not speaking to it, He can't speak to it. Because I've been feeling for her for a while.
Yeah.
But then right in that moment, I get this vision of her just like, it's like she just got out of the bed and she doesn't want to get out of the bed. And she's walking through this war-torn place. It's like dark. There's little pockets of flame everywhere. A massive battle had just taken place. Mm-hmm. I mean, it is just... scorched earth everywhere. And she's just dragging her sword and her shield behind her. Like, it's all dragging on the ground. And she's just like, if someone wants to shoot me, they can. I'm good. I'm open. That's the way she looked. And then I saw this plane flying overhead, and it had this long It was almost like it was like a cable with a hook on the end of it. And it just came along. It was flying overhead, and it just hooked her and like yanked her up in the air.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, whoa, that reminds me of like Batman Dark Knight anyway, but I don't know how many people have watched that, but that's what I saw. And she just got yanked up and pulled into the into the plane. And I was just like, whoa, I really think this is the Lord, and I shared it with you.
Yeah, and it was so the Lord, because that's exactly what happened. It was just, there was this
exactly
like literally like a hook
amazing.
that just came, and it was like, okay, like I applied for a particular job, and it just pulled me right up into it, and I literally was at that job. And it's funny because later on, it was that God used the picture of the airplane that had, lifted, hooked me and taken me up as the very airplane I was then going to have to jump out of. And it was just very much the Lord, because it
Prophet
was
Steve Harvey. He was like, you're going to have to jump. And I just knew that was the Lord. I think that might have even been before prophetic numbers.
Yeah.
And I just knew that was the Lord speaking. You're going to have to jump.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, what a mind boggle. You just got picked up in a plane, and now now you're thinking like, well, the plane's gonna have to land and all those things. He's like, nope, you're gonna have to jump.
Yeah.
Here's your parachute.
Yeah, and so there was
it's called
that
faith.
Yeah, and there was that moment when we ended up, it was like, Lord's like, okay, it's time for you to leave and all of that, and I ended up having to jump out of the plane. So it's just, I think we have these examples in our lives, but it's just that God, He can do things in ways that we're just not even thinking. We're not even just really like aware of just how He's going to do something, and it's like, and so I love just what God was doing once again, because He's like, again, He's going to come in a way that's unexpected. We expect, we're just going to walk through this jungle and we'll find the end of it at some point. And the Lord's like, no, actually, you're going to walk through this jungle, and then I'm just going to take you out of it. Yeah. You're walking through a wilderness, and it's like, God's just like, there's going to be a moment where I'm just changing it. You're now in this place that's like, a garden that was a desert, and things like that. And so
it's the whole from the prison to the palace.
Yeah, exactly.
From the wilderness to the throne. Same idea,
Yeah.
God just does it, and He gets all the glory. Again, it'll be like one of those only God moments. Like there's just no way.
Yeah. So that's really, I think, the heart of what we wanted to share with you guys today, as far as just, those times when you already are walking on water. So continue to look to the Lord, because you don't want to look at your surroundings and start being pulled down.
It's like, but I'm afraid. Okay, we'll keep looking at the Lord.
Yep. Just
look at the truth.
Keep going towards Him. Yeah, looking at the truth and seeking His heart and bringing everything to Him, because you can't do it on your own. And then that was like the one thing with the vision of me. It was just like when I was trying to move and I was trying to go, it was actually getting tighter.
Yes, I forgot about that.
And pulling me down more.
Yeah, it was getting worse.
But it was like, but when I looked to the Lord, things just started coming off.
Yeah.
And so it's
so
like,
then you're trusting in His ability,
exactly,
not your own.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so to just be aware of just continuing to focus on the Lord and not look at the surroundings, and then also to be encouraged that the Lord can come in to our life in so many different ways, and that He can just come in and lift you out of a situation. He can part things, like He did with the Red Sea. He can make a way where there seems to be no way. And so just... And
He will.
And He will.
And He's intending to.
And He
does.
And
He expects you to expect it.
Yeah.
So be looking for it.
Yeah.
So like, God, I don't know how you're going to do it, but I know that You spoke it and You're going to perform it. So I'm just going to keep walking day by day, and we'll see what You end up doing. Because You will fulfill Your word.
Yes.
It's just the bottom line.
Yeah. So I just pray that you guys are encouraged and continue to just hope in the Lord and hold fast to Him. So until next time, we will see you later.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.